I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for April 10th, 2024. The current time now is 6:01. I have the prayer led by Councilmember Broussard and the pledge led by Councilmember Landry. Councilman Broussard.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Councilman Landry.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Tommy Pollard. Here. Michael Landry. Here. Marcus Broussard. Lloyd Brown. Here. Warren Goshenson.
Here.
Natalie Broussard. Dustin Swear. Here. James Trahan. Here. Scott Ronsonnet. Brock Pellerin. Here. Brian Napier. Here. Lady Brown Fontanet. Cayman Crapel. And Chad Mathurin.
We have 10 members in a quorum. Moving on to council member announcements. Councilman Pollard. Good. Give me a second. Councilman Landry.
Just want to remind the public that we having another town hall tomorrow at Sugar Land Elementary. That'll be District 2, 3, and 14. I want anybody to come out to ask any questions to find out about what we doing with this road tax. That's it.
Gentleman from District 2 yields back. The gentleman from District 11 is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, Tuesday in
Ward
Jeanerette at Ward 8.
Yes, sir, and I'm going to say it.
Same
6
thing,
o'clock.
we're
Yes,
going to
sir.
have a town hall in Jeanerette. And I don't do Facebook, but maybe if, like for tomorrow night, anybody that does Facebook or does that social media stuff, put it out there. I'm one to get on the phone and all, but spread the word out tomorrow night and Tuesday night. It's getting close. The election day is almost here, so if you have any questions or feelings about that, come and share them with your parish president and your council members. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman from District 11 yields back. The gentleman from District 8 is recognized.
Yeah, I'd like to let everybody know that April 27th, at Festival of Live Oaks in City Park, there'll be craft booths, vendor booths. There will be a barbecue cook-off for adults and for juniors, ages 6 to 16. So anybody wants to get a team to get in there, you can go to the office at City Park Rec Center, pick up application, fill it out, and come enjoy your day, April 27th. Thank you.
Gentleman from District 8 yields back. Seeing and hearing no other announcements, I'd like to announce that my daughter's going to be hosting her lemonade stand on this upcoming Saturday, April 13th, inviting the general public to come out. There'll be plenty of food, fried fish, good jambalaya by Mr. Trahan. I think Waste Connections is doing fish. You still doing the jambalaya? Okay, good. Cracklins by Clico. We got subs and sub sandwiches by Tropical Smoothie. It's going to be a big deal. Come out. There's a lot of attractions. Not often that families can come together, and there's no issues, and it's free of charge. If you want to make a donation, we're taking all donations for the Angel Paws organization. So please come out and join us. Hearing and seeing no other.
What time is it, Warren?
It's from 10 to 1 on April 13th.
Got you.
All right, hearing and seeing no other requests to speak, moving on to parish president announcements.
If
Parish
I can,
President Richard.
thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. What I'm going to do is start off by talking about the election for April the 27th. Of course, this is a big deal for Iberia Parish. We're going to have some renewable millages. Public health unit is going to be renewed at 2.11. Public buildings at 4.76. Drainage facilities at 4.00. And library, the parish council elected to take it down from 6.0 to 4.5. Now, even though we've gone down to 4.5, the parish council haven't used, I don't think we've been above 3.5 since I've been the parish president.
That's correct.
And the intent behind this here is to keep it at 4.5, but from what I'm getting from talking to some parish council members, They even going to make it lower than that for the next year, so the library can start using some of their fund balance. The new tax is the sales tax, and the sales tax that's on the ballot is for 0.75 cents. 0.75 cents. This sales tax is going to generate some $4.8 million a year. It's a 10-year dedicated sales tax for roads only. It could only be used for the purpose of constructing, improving, and maintaining roads and streets within the district, the unincorporated area of Iberia Parish. It's a dedicated sales tax for roads only. It's for 10 years. It's just 10 years. And the reason being is because the parish council want to take a look at it. Whoever the parish council is going to be at that particular time in whatever administration, with the businesses that we have coming into Iberia Parish, we may not have to renew it, or if they have to renew it, it may be able to be a little bit less than the 0.7. But give you a little idea on what's taking place here. If you, I don't have it in front of me, but if you actually spending, I think it was $500, for example, at a store, you're talking $3.75. You're not talking a whole lot of money. You're spending $10,000, you're talking $75. So it's not like we crippling ourselves. I can tell you, I got a phone call, and I can't tell anyone to vote for a tax. I can't tell anyone to not vote for a tax. I can only try to educate you and make you know what's going on. I can tell you, I received a phone call last week, Monday, where a lady broke her front end of her vehicle, and she said it's going to cost $1,600 for her to get it fixed, and she wasn't happy. But when I explained to her what was going on with this dedicated road fund, she definitely got educated really, really quick, and she said some things that she was going to do, and again, it's up to her, whatever it is that she's going to do. I want to explain to people the sales tax that we have in Iberia Parish. We collect 7.70 cents sales tax. The city of New Iberia collect 9.45. If this particular tax passed, we would be at 8.45. Currently, with the 7.70 cent sales tax, 4.5% of that goes to the state. 2% goes to the school board. That becomes 6.45 right there. 0.25 goes to the criminal law enforcement. That's 6.70. You have 1 cent left. And that's what the parish government maintain or manage. 0.25 goes to mosquito control, 0.25 goes to recreation, and 0.50 goes to solid waste. That is it. That's what we have. So for the people that's thinking we have a dedicated road fund, we don't. Again, I can't tell you how to vote. I just want to kind of educate you a little bit on what's going on right there. We've had town hall meetings in reference to this here held in Lauraville, Lydia, Coteau, Grand Mary, and Camp Knighton. The next town hall meeting, as you heard earlier, is going to be tomorrow night at Sugar Land Elementary. That's 243 Jefferson Island Road, from 6 o'clock to about 7:30. On Monday, the next meeting is going to be held at Iberia Middle School, which is 613 Weeks Island Road, and that's going to be from 6 o'clock to around 7:30. On Tuesday, we're going to be at Ward 8 Recreation Center. That's 803 Huberville Road, Jeanerette, and that's going to be from 6 o'clock to about 7:30. I want to make everyone aware that we will be having the Household Waste Day. That's going to be held on Saturday, April 27th, from 9 o'clock to 12 noon in the back parking lot of the courthouse. Remember, that's Election Day. For those of you who don't early vote, that's Election Day. So we want to make sure that people remember to vote. The next thing we have is mosquito control. Louisiana and Florida are homes to the most recognized mosquito control program in the country. Iberia Parish Mosquito Control is one of those standout programs. Our director, Herb Jones, attended the 26th annual St. Augustine, Florida Spring Workshop highlighting Iberia Parish. He presented elements of our mosquito program, our mosquito control program, in dialogue with key federal agencies and decision makers that's related to post-hurricane response measures. We have an unbelievable program when it comes to mosquito control, and it's very much recognized throughout the United States. So we're doing very well when it comes to mosquito control. Bayou Teche debris removal. That particular project, the first phase, is scheduled to be completed on April the 19th. Yesterday, the Test Vermilion Levy District approved at their board meeting, $65,000 to complete that project. Y'all aware, that project is being done in conjunction with the Department of Transportation, the Army Corps of Engineers, the state of Louisiana, of course, from the governor's office, and Iberia Parish. Later on tonight, you're going to see where we're going to expand the agenda, where we're trying to come up with the $65,000 that we have to put in for this project. This is a huge project. The $65,000 that we're going to take and use in this project is nothing compared for what we're getting ready to receive and what we are receiving right now from the Corps. This is going to be around a $1.6 million project. So we're putting in $65,000. We actually used Public Works earlier to pick up some vegetation from a location around Laurelville, Bowes Baycraft, and brought to our landfill. We're pretty much done with that. So there's no more money other than the $65,000 that we're going to put in and the services that we did in kind already from our Public Works Department that's going to be there. Mullins Road Bridge is scheduled to open next week. Mullins Road Bridge is scheduled to open next week. You got that? First Solar Water Treatment Plant pre-bid conference was held today here in the chamber for the new Waterworks treatment plant for First Solar. C.H. Fenstermaker and Associates is in charge of this project. Bids are due next Wednesday. This is a big deal for us. This is a very big deal. We're getting closer and closer to finishing everything that's needed to get this project up and running. As you know, when this project started, it was around a $1.1 billion project. As of now, it's being discussed where it's probably going to be anywhere from $1.1 to $1.3 billion for this project. It's absolutely huge. We're getting a lot of companies that's calling, wanting to. We're getting a lot of calls. I'll put it to you that way, and it's a great thing for Iberia Parish. Jefferson, the construction at the Jefferson Canal South in Delcom. On Wednesday, April the 3rd, a concrete slab was poured, and you talk about a big deal. That concrete slab supported the installation of the box culverts, which is the next phase in this particular project. Weather permitting, that's the slide you're looking at. Weather permitting, installation is expected to begin on Monday, April the 15th. This project is scheduled to be done in September of this year. This is a huge deal. What you're looking at right now, I think, is that morning when we got there. Matter of fact, I was there, and Joe was there, Joe Morgan, and we were actually taking pictures. If you look in that corner to the right is where they first started pouring the concrete on that particular foundation. This is a huge deal. There's a lot of water in that area that we're going to try to manage. And what happens, of course, as you know, the flood control structures that we are doing is trying to keep the water, not from hurricanes, this is just water that comes in on high tide, that actually go and cause the people's houses and yards to flood on a regular, beautiful, sunny day, if the wind is 12, 14, 15 miles an hour coming from the south. So this is a big project for us. This is something that's been done. We're working with CPRA, and as you know, CPRA is really taking care of business. This is when it was actually completed. All of the concrete was poured. You can actually see two different channels. One is, we're not controlling that one because that's going to be back into the marsh, whatever. But you can see the channel right here. The next thing going to happen is they're going to put, I think it's 2 inches or 4 inches of sand. And after they put the sand, they're going to come with the box culverts. That's going to go all the way across. It's going to be a big structure. And it's going to help a lot of people in the Delcom area, the 675 area. It's a really, really, really big structure for us. And you can let that run if you want, or whatever the case is. I want to tell everyone, and then anyone have any questions in reference to that, please ask me, because this is a huge project. We have about another 10 structures that we're going to be doing in this parish. As you guys already know, you've been approving them as they come up. The website, the website that we have, we got a lot of new things on the website, and as you can tell, we are trying to educate people more and more on what's happening in Iberia Parish from this particular website. If you have anything that you decide that need to be changed on this particular website, y'all need to give us a call, because it's an ever-working process to keep this thing going, to make it work for Iberia Parish and give our constituents the opportunity to see what it is that we're doing. Facebook is really working very, very good. Joe Morgan is the young lady that we hired that's actually in charge of all of this. You can wave your hand, say hi. She's actually in charge of doing all of this. She worked extremely close with Cindy, Bo, and Edie to make sure all of this is working very well. And it's a big thing for us. We want to keep it going in the direction that we're going. As you can tell, our parish president announcements is a little bit different. I'm trying to put everything on the screen so the people that's actually listening, they can actually see what it is that we're talking about and what it is that we're doing in Iberia Parish. So at the next meeting, I'm planning to actually do an overview with drones showing you what's taking place at First Solar. They have come a long, long way. The next thing I'll do at the meeting after that is get drones and take pictures of what's taking place at Delta Biofuel. And we're going to continue to try to let the people know what it is that we're doing in Iberia Parish. And Mr. Chairman, I better stop. That's enough. We got a lot going on, and I can talk for a minute, but I'm gonna let that go. Thank you all so much, and if you have any questions, just.
Members, are there any questions for the parish president? We do have a couple. The gentleman from District 11 is recognized.
So just, I don't know if you touched on early voting.
I didn't. I can. I can.
Could you?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Early voting is going to start Saturday.
This
Coming Saturday, the 13th. Is not going to be open on Sunday, and then they start back the early voting again on Monday. And I think it goes from Monday until on Friday. Friday? Yeah, Saturday, Monday till Saturday. So early voting is this Saturday, and they're not going to do it on Sunday. But then you
all
start
next
Monday of next week until Saturday.
Gotcha.
And I think that's it. Thank you all so much, and let's move on. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm good, thank you.
The
Thank you.
gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 3 is recognized for a question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President, one quick question. Last meeting, you mentioned the sites for waste drop-offs, Sugarina, and
Yes.
did we, and I don't remember if you said, did we finish that, or are you still kind of working?
We're working that. We have a
Still
meeting-
working on it?
Absolutely. Currently, we're working for the first site to be at Public Works, and then we're looking to do the old Public Works, and then we're looking to do Sugarina. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we can have that done in the next, I'm gonna say couple of months. I don't wanna say a month. Let's say a couple of months so we can give ourselves some time. But we definitely work with the company, which is Waste Connection. They're 100% on board. The reason we're using those locations is because the foundation is already there. We don't have to really come up with a lot of limestone or anything like that. What we do have to come up with is the cameras that we're actually gonna see who's doing what. Because if someone go there and they just call themselves messing up something, we would certainly like to know what's going on before they get to the property. So we will have cameras at each place, 360. And so we're working on that. I may have to come back to you guys before, if I can't find the money. Where's Killen? If I can't find the money, I'm pretty sure I'll have to come back and maybe get a couple of dollars or whatever it is to do to get the cameras that we need. A couple of thousand, yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you, guys.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 8 is recognized for a question.
Yeah, Mr. Richard, talking about the drop-off for the waste and stuff, is there anywhere in the parish that we have, or it's gonna be where you can drop off white goods at?
No, sir.
No, you just go straight to scrap yard or
Yes.
something like that? I just want to
Yeah,
let
none.
everybody know that there was.
No, we're not gonna be dropping off your refrigerators and your dryers and stuff like that, no. Now, we did discuss that. And we may end up doing a bit of that later. The deal is I would have to try to come up with someone that's gonna be able to pick it up. Because that's not something that bulky waste normally deal with.
All right. The gentleman
you.
from District 8 yields back. Hearing and seeing no other further comments. Moving on to public comments. I need a motion to go into go into public comments. I have a motion by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Pellerin. Vote your machines, members, to go into regular session. Public session, I'm sorry. Councilman Napier. That motion carries unanimously. We're now into public comments. I have number 1, comments from the general public on agenda items. Item A, Madam Clerk.
Iberia Parish Sheriff Tommy Romero to address the council on the parish-wide quarter-cent sales tax.
Sheriff, if you could just state your name and title for the record, please.
Sheriff Tommy Romero.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can, because I know we pressed for a little time. I want to personally thank each and every one of you again, from the Sheriff's Department, the men and women of the Sheriff's Office. We really appreciate what you have done for us with regards to the purchase of the facility that we're operating out of. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been proven and said by out-of-state people, and I'll get into that in just a second, that this is a very, very impressive building. It shows that Iberia Parish and the Sheriff's Office is working with parish government, and we're moving that in the right direction as a parish as a whole. So I want to continue working with you all. I had an individual come over to do some training from out of state. I think he was probably from Oklahoma or something, and he was an instructor. We were doing a law enforcement de-escalation course at the facility. We're having the training room there. He said, "Sheriff, you mind if I tell you something real quick?" I said, "Not a problem, what you got?" He says, "I've traveled across this country, many, many states, to other law enforcement agencies, Sheriff's Office, city police departments, and so forth. I have never been in a nicer building than what you have here in Iberia. It shows that you all are doing the right thing, you're going in the right direction. You need to be commended for your office. I thought you should all hear that, because if it wouldn't have been for y'all, we wouldn't be in the building right now. So thank you for that. In 2019, I ran for sheriff, took office in 20. I made a promise to the people of Iberia Parish that we would change the image of the Sheriff's Department, to move that image into a more professional organization and show the people that we are committed to law enforcement and public safety for Iberia Parish. I don't know if many of you are aware, but since in 2020, when I took office to today, we have answered over 70,000 calls for service at the Sheriff's Office. Those calls for service range from barking chickens, because we do have some people that call out and say they got some barking chickens. We haven't found those, but we did find loose chickens, loose dogs, loose animals, people, suspicious people walking around under the garages, pulling on car doors, riding bicycles in the middle of the night, up to no good, as far as, and it ranges up to homicides. The men and women of your Sheriff's Office are very professional. They do a great job. And that's the kind of calls we have to handle. Now, I'm budgeted for 176 employees as of right now in my budget. I'm operating with 156. I'm 20 people short. In the last 4 years, my first term, I've lost 20 people with regards to pay issues. They're leaving the office to go make better money, more money in the private sector. Now, I probably had maybe 4 or 5 of those leave for private business. The remainder, the other 15, left for other law enforcement agencies because they were paying better money. They just have a better tax base than what we have here in Iberia. So it's important that I tell you this part, because I want you to understand how well trained and the investment we have in the people that are working with us now. We've had 13 homicides in the parish, my first term. 13 sounds like a lot. 1 homicide is too many for me. So in 2020, we had 1 homicide. In 2021, we had 1 homicide. In 2022, we had 3. And in 2023, we had 8. There was a slight increase. That's still too many. But I want you to know that's a 4-year span. We had 13 homicides. The men and women of the Sheriff's Office, when they respond to these type of calls, have the training and the knowledge as to how to how to respond to the call, how to protect the scene when detectives come out and process the scene. There's a lot that goes into making a case so that our district attorney can prosecute We have cleared, out of the 13 homicides, we've cleared 12 by arrest. That's a good record. 12 by arrest. I want you to know that that sounds like a lot, but when you look at other cities near us, and I don't want to name any names for any towns, in 1 year, we had 8. They had over 22 in one city. So the men and women of the sheriff's office are well-trained. I need to maintain and keep these well-trained, your investment, because the investment dollar that we collect, your dollar, goes to training. We train them, we equip them, we put them radar, we put them body cameras, we put the guns on their belt, we put their badge, the uniform, all ready to go with the training. A lot of times, this training process takes almost probably 9 months after they graduate from the academy. And we invest that, they stay, I'll get them to sign a contract with me to stay for at least a year. After that year's over, they're free to leave. If an opening comes up in another agency that's higher pay, they jump. We got to start all over. Your tax dollar just went to the other sheriff or the other city police. They don't have to train them. They don't have to pay for the tax dollar to send them to their academy. That's already been done by your tax dollar. So we lose that. I want to stop that. And the way to stop that is to keep our people from leaving. I interviewed each one of the 20 that I've lost over the four-year span. Those departed regretfully, and they indicated to me, Sheriff, listen, it's not you, it's not the department, it's not the people of Iberia Parish. We like working here. We just can't afford to work here. So I'm asking a 1/4-cent sales tax be levied, a dedicated sales tax, for the salaries and benefits of the police officers that we have invested in. I can tell you, I was fortunate enough and I was proud to be able to serve on Governor Jeff Landry's committee to select the next colonel for state police. I got an inside view as to what on the horizon for state police, and that directly is going to affect many law enforcement agencies in a positive light. He wants to make Louisiana a safer community, a safer place and a safer state. He's going to do that. I know him. He's going to do what he says he's going to do, and he's going to fix it. And they're short, like 600 troopers. He's going to address those issues. When he addresses the issues, it affects the sheriff's office or any other agency, because they're going to take people from these agencies and move them up. It's higher pay for state police. State police is paying $54,000. That's of right now. That probably has been adjusted. I'm going to round these numbers off so you can kind of get your head around it. $54,000 is for Louisiana State Police. $46,000 is the sheriff's pay in St. Martin. Lafayette Sheriff's Office, $44,000. Broussard, Youngsville are tied at $40,000. Vermilion Sheriff's Office is at $42,000. But I spoke to Chief Olivia in Broussard just the other day. He indicated to me, no, Sheriff, it's not 40 for us anymore. We just went up to 45. They're already moving in that direction. That's a big jump. New Iberia City Police Department is at $41,500. Now I'm going to tell you, when I started the sheriff's office, I gave a 4% raise. They hadn't had a raise. I don't know when the last time they had a raise. That was previous administrations. I gave a 4%, which I could afford. An additional 4% the following year, and then 5%. So this dollar figure I'm going to give you, good chance I gave those raises, because it would be lower than what I'm embarrassed to tell you it's at. Right now we're at $34,900, $3,500 start pay for deputy sheriff here. I'm embarrassed to tell you that. We need to do something with regards to pay so we can retain our people. We want a safer and cleaner Iberia Parish, a parish that we want our families to move back to or keep from moving out. We want to retain there. We want businesses to come here. Being in support of the tax, it would be a message to businesses that want to move in. It sends a message to the criminal element. The people of Iberia Parish care about law enforcement. It sends a message to the employees that receive a bonus and raise that you all care about law enforcement and the deputy sheriffs that work in Iberia Parish and in the city. And no response or no support of this tax proposal sends the wrong message. It sends a message to the businesses. The people don't even want to invest in their local law enforcement. Who's going to take care of our property? Who's going to watch our property if we don't have somebody to patrol the area? They're not going to be worried about it. They don't even support local law enforcement. They're going to think twice about coming here. It sends the wrong message to the criminal element. Hey, oh, the people don't care about law enforcement. We can do what we want. And it sends the message to the deputies. We need to go look for another job in another spot making more money than we respected. So I'm asking you to please consider, on behalf of the sheriff's office, to please consider supporting our dedicated tax. I know that the Paris residents are not keen with regards to paying extra taxes. But if you want to save Iberia, you want to clean Iberia, you want Iberia to keep moving in the right direction, I would ask you that you help us keep and retain the deputies that we have. Thank you very much. I'll answer any questions if anybody has
Members, are there
anything.
any questions for Sheriff Romero? At this time, we do have one by the gentleman from District 11.
Sheriff, hats off to you. That was very moving.
What?
And hopefully that message you get out to everybody.
Well, thank you.
Not only are we trying to, I mean, if you want services from your parish,
Gotta pay for it.
you gotta pay for it. You know, just like roads and drainage and everything. And if we want good law enforcement, I'm with you. I'm hoping everybody backs you. With this, if this passes, I hope it does, what will it bring your starting from 35 to what, or do you even want to say that?
Well,
You know, how is it gonna be
the
implemented?
tax will be, it's a sales tax. We all understand that. It's not a ad valorem tax, it's not a property tax, sales tax. Everybody puts in. So, look, if I go to the grocery store, I'll go to the grocery store. I'll come out with 4 bags of groceries, is $100. I'm asking for 25 cents off that $100 bill. You all go to the grocery store, you understand the cost of living nowadays.
right.
Insurance, everything else is going up. It goes up for them too.
Where will it bring your
It would bring 3.5 to 4 million, depending on how much we collect. Somewhere in between there.
So
That
you're
would
not-
give me enough money. And I like to compare ourselves a little bit to probably law enforcement wise. I would think we compatible with Vermillion, even though the population might be a little different. We're a coastal parish. We're a coastal parish. We both share Delcom. We have a lot in common. They're at 42. We're at 34.9. I believe that Sheriff Longlinay indicated to me they were going to tweak that number. I don't believe it's going to be tweaked downward. I would suspect it's going to be tweaked upward. So I think probably it would be safe to say a 20% increase from our start pay for the deputies would put me in that ballpark. You know, I'm not just going to throw a number and be the best paid law enforcement. I don't think I'm going to be throwing my number out to be compatible with state police. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
We're gonna monitor that, and we'll have enough room to make some adjustments. But the main thing would be to hire and attract, build up my application pool, because I'm telling you, I do have applicants. Those applicants don't quite cut the mustard, and I'm not gonna lower my standards
Right,
just to pick somebody and put a body behind a badge and send them on the road. That's liability issues
right.
that arise from that type of move. But it would make us a lot more comparable, and I could make some adjustments as I need. But I think probably 25% increase would really, really do some good for the officers, and they would be more apt to stay.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good luck.
Anyone else?
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 3 is recognized for a question.
Hey, Sheriff, thanks for coming in. Is it part of the reason for the sales tax is to get your 20 up to 176, or is there thoughts of expanding? Is there more?
Well,
uh,
I
officers
have.
you're thinking of bringing? Just curious.
I do have, naturally, I would want to put as many police officers as I can on the road. I need to backfill some spots in detectives. Would like to go from having 5 guys on the road to 8 guys on the road. That would really help out a whole bunch. So there's some room for improvement for new hires. We have the capability of expanding in the office, but that also comes at a cost with regards to, I have to come up with insurance, all that other stuff too. So we'd have to look at that. But really, it's to maintain and keep what we already have. I don't anticipate going past what I'm budgeted for.
The gentleman from District 3 yields back. Hearing and seeing no other comments from the council, we do have one from the parish president.
Sheriff, good luck with this here. You're gonna be labeled like me now, trying to get a tax pass.
No, I understand.
And that's gonna be tough. But you're strong and you can handle it, just like I can handle it. But I would like to ask you, maybe you can tell the people how dangerous it is for your sheriffs to be traveling down these roads with potholes all over the place trying to get to a scene.
Well, okay, I see where we're going. And I appreciate it. I really do.
But I'm honest.
I'll be honest with you, because as a police officer, I know driving a police unit at a high rate of speed, I can't do that on a substandard road.
That's right.
It just doesn't, it's not good for the equipment. It's not healthy for your life to drive on such a bad road. You can't have response times as quick as you could because you dodging, if that helps you any.
Yeah, and the reason I'm saying that is because when you're trying to do something to make things better,
No, I wouldn't.
Sometimes it's tough because people gonna have a tendency to say things. But if you're trying to make it better, he talked about the different pays in the different parishes or whatever for the different police and sheriff departments. You don't have to look far. If you go right up the street past Captain Cade into Youngsville, these people are booming, but they're paying for it. And the quality of life that they're receiving, paying the sheriff department, paying the police department good salaries, they're paying for it. So you're gonna get what you pay for, is basically what I'm trying to say. I just
Yeah, and
wanted
the
to-
businesses move to progressive areas and, and we can be that. I know we can.
Yes. All right,
So-
thank you, Sheriff.
Thank
Sheriff,
you
have
very
the
much.
right- You have the right at this point to closure, if there's anything else you wanted to add before you leave.
No, just thank you again for the building. We really appreciate it. It puts us in the right direction. Let's hope we can continue to move in that direction. I need your help.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
luck,
very much.
Sheriff. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Appreciate it. Thank
Good
you
to
very
see
much.
you. Moving on to number 2, Madam Clerk.
Persons being considered for the appointment to the parish boards, commissions to address the council.
We do have one request by Mr. James Spicer for appointment to the Waterworks District Number 3, agenda item number 2. Sir, if you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name's James Sprague. My address is 4019 Romero Road, Youngsville. I'm asking for your consideration for a place on the board of the Waterworks District 3. If one becomes available, I've been a resident of Koto for 32 years now and would just like to give back to that community if possible. That's my ask.
Members, are there any questions at this time? Hearing and seeing none, thank you for being here. Thank you for wanting to serve your community. Members, at this time, I'd like for a motion to go back into regular session. I have that motion by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Broussard. Vote your machines to go back into regular session, members. Councilman Landry? That motion carries. We're now back into regular session. By request, members will take up expansion number 68, summary 68 for expansion. Madam Clerk?
Oh, yeah. 68. A resolution acknowledging receipt of the 2023 fiscal year audit of the financial statements of the Hospital Service District Number 1 of the Iberia Parish, Iberia Medical Center, to provide for the effective date thereof, and no other provide with respect thereto.
Purpose of expansion.
The purpose of this expansion is to acknowledge receipt of the 2023 fiscal year audit of financial statements.
I need a motion to go into public session. I have a motion by Councilman Landry, second by Councilman Brown. Vote your machines for public session, members. That motion carries unanimously. We're now into public session. Anybody from the audience that would like to address expansion number 68? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to go back into regular session. Have that motion by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Landry. Vote your machines to go back into regular session, members. That motion carries unanimously. I'll need a motion to expand the agenda, members. I have that motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Broussard. No discussion. Vote your machines on expansion. Councilman Pellerin? That motion carries unanimously. We are now expanded. I'll need a motion to suspend the rules. Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Brown. Vote your machines on expansion, on suspension of the rules, members. I need a vote. Sorry about that, members. Go ahead, try again.
All right.
That motion carries unanimously. We now suspend the rules, and I'll need a motion to open summary number 68. Have that motion by Councilman Swear, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Swear on discussion. Councilman Pellerin. At this time, we do have somebody representing the hospital, Director Dion.
Yes, Dion Viator, CEO of your parish hospital, Iberia Medical Center. Here this evening with Amy Longlinay, who is the Chief Financial Officer of the hospital as well. Thank you for letting me present tonight. I'm here to talk about the 2023 audited financial statements, as well as an update of some accomplishments and where we're headed. Is the presentation going to be pulled up? Okay. So this starts with our audited financial statements, and I'll let you know in advance, it's pretty boring. So the auditors came, did all of their work. The work and the report has been by and accepted by the Iberia Medical Center Hospital Board. They did all of their procedures. We had some new accounting statements they did. They looked at all of our policies, procedures, accounting treatments of financial statements, and had no findings. This is our balance sheet. You can see this is compared 2023 is the year they audited, 2020 compared to 2022. When I say it's boring, you can see last year we had a little over 27 million in cash. This year we had slightly under 27 million in cash. Our total assets were 129 million in both years. Numbers pretty much exact year over year. The slight difference in the cash position is really had to do with Medicare giving hospitals some advance payments because of COVID that needed to go back to Medicare. We didn't use the funds, we held them, and we returned those because they were a loan, not a part of a CARES Act grant. Our liabilities at the hospital were very consistent with prior years as well, so nothing new, interesting at all on our balance sheet. From the income statement, you can see that from our patient revenue, we went from 114 million in revenue to 126 million in revenue year over year. Our operating expenses increased as well, and you can specifically see in the supplies and other expense, that's where the biggest increase came from. That's $5 million increase year over year. Some of that had to do with increases in cost because of the patient care we were providing, but the majority of that increase was repairs and maintenance because of the repairs we were doing to the medical office building and the hospital as a result of the tornado. So when you look down further in the income statement, see gain from insurance proceeds, that 5.7 million offsets that. So we have the expenses, the offsetting revenue, and a bottom line of net surplus of 2.8 for the year. Some other things to just talk about, since labor cost is overall about 65% of the expenses of the hospital. This is just a graph that our auditors, four of us, put together. And I think the thing that was a little bit interesting to me in this is you can see the salaries and benefits, the increase that we're going through right now with competitive pay and markets and healthcare. But the thing I'm proud of is the green bar is contract labor. You can look at before COVID, 2% of our operating revenue was spent on contract labor back in 2019. It increased in 2022 to 12% of our overall operating revenue, and we've made significant reductions in 2023 down to 7%, and right now we're down to about 4% or so. So really making significant strides in moving from contract labor, from travelers to employed nurses, and the consistency is absolutely showing in our patient satisfaction and our quality. This is capital assets, purchases, our reinvestment, taking our net surplus and putting it back into the hospital, year-over-year trend. And what I found interesting about this slide and why I'm showing it is normally if you look at 2019 and the past, about $2.5 million a year was reinvested back into the hospital, equipment, services, and things like that. In 2020 and 2021, we had some CARES Act funding that came and helped us with negative pressure rooms and some of the other capital things that we invested in. 2022 was a more normalized year, but you can see the improvements that over $7.5 million with the improvements made to the medical office building with the insurance funds is what that last significant red bar there is. So doing well there. And this is moving past the audit, looking at this current fiscal year. We're 5 months into the fiscal year right now. So I thought I'd give a quick update of where we are. We are at profitability net surplus of $730,000 compared to a budget of $123,000 so far this year. And compared to the past 2 years with COVID, you can see operationally we struggled at this point in the year. We made it up, and we were had a positive net surplus by the end of the year, but ahead of where we've been in the last couple of years on a net surplus at the hospital. Our total net revenue for the year, this is a trending back from 2012 forward, so you can see in the last decade we've doubled in size to serve the community, and our net revenue is at $126 million. As we ended 2023, as we just talked about in the audited financial statements, and similarly so this year, estimated to be at about 126 so far. Our expenses coming down a little bit from last year. Some of that has to do with the decline in costs because of the repairs and maintenance that I told you was an unusual expense because of the tornado in the past year. So if you just step back and hospital kind of overview, we've been profitable every year in the past 25 years, except for 2016. That's what the year the North Campus was acquired. And in 2016, a lot of cost went into hiring, getting that facility to pass Louisiana Department of Health inspections, bring it up to fire code, a lot of different things. But immediately the hospital was profitable again starting in 2017. I think that the board tells me at the time, the 2016, they expected there to be at least a 2-year of negative profitability before it was returning. So a good job there. Our profit averages about $1 million a year from normal operations. We have some different things that hit us, like the tornado, like CARES Act, or sometimes significant retirement PERS adjustments. But from operations, we make about $1 million a year. That gives us about $4 million in cash flow. So we reinvest about $2.5 million, put the rest in the bank. As we put the rest of that in the bank, we are continually growing our days cash on hand, and we're currently at about 93 days cash on hand. Any questions about the financial statements and the financial report? So if I take a few minutes to give you a few more updates of what we've done. I last spoke to you in October. Okay.
A quick question about the contract nursing. Y'all went, it's coming down. Is that kind of across the, I mean, my first or second year here, we had a huge increase in the nurses' contract costs that we had to deal with. Is that over the, I mean, just the further we get away from COVID and all that stuff, does that come down across the country, or is that just here, or is that just something we're doing here to make sure that we, bring that down, I guess? Can you give me a little more on that?
Industry-wide, we're all working, and I think a lot of the nurses who were traveling before are now kind of settling back into their home markets. But there are pockets. I think, if you look nationally, there are pockets that are doing much worse than us. In Louisiana, I think most hospitals are moving back towards the hiring. But I have to say, I think we're doing better than most. We do have competitive pay, and the retirement system that the hospital has is also one that is beneficial. And I'd like to say we have a good environment to work in with great patients and community. So,
Thank you.
tornado glass repair update. So hopefully this is one of the last updates I give you on this. I kind of started this slide with what it looked like right on December 14th. We've made progress. It took some time. We had to custom order the glass 3 times stronger, get the metal curtain walls refabricated, and we began dropping the glass in July after the tornado. As of this week, we have the final panel of glass that has been installed, and we're just working on the punch list. So about 2 more weeks of them doing some punch list issues, but we were certainly glad that earlier this week we were able to have that completed in advance of this morning's weather, and everything held beautifully. So glad to be at the end of this. If you haven't driven by the building, it really is looking fabulous, and our contractor is now demobilizing. The last thing that we have to do as a part of the medical office building is, now that we have a sealed, strong infrastructure around the building in skin, we're coming back and doing some interior renovations. We've poured some new terrazzo. We've got some more work to do that with pulling down wallpaper, repainting. This is going to probably take us another 6 or 8 weeks, and then we'll have a grand reopening of the building. We need to celebrate and let this kind of be behind us. So it's been quite the journey, but this building is in much stronger, and it's in great shape. We are set for, I think, another 20, 25 years. So there's a ray of sunshine in everything that we went through. The hospital itself, all of the glass, that was a little delay to get some of that glass put in place. And that was mostly conversations with the insurance company and trying to make sure we were able to maximize what needed to be done there. All of that was completed in January, so the hospital glass is done as well. The last piece that we have, and it's still left, is this front stairwell. It's very visible from the front of the road, so I hate that has happened. But what we've done, we have contracted for this to be completely replaced, and insurance will do that. But as we've kind of worked with our team in South Louisiana to have a stairwell, which is what this is, completely encased in a wall structure of glass, may not be the safest thing. That was part of the original design of the building, but where do we go when we need to not use our elevators? We're having a hurricane or inclement weather. We go to our stairwells for protection and go down. So we're looking at a separate, increasing with stucco and more brick and much less glass on that stairwell, and getting that architecturally drawn and rebid out to see if there's some things that we can do differently there. So this is really just a safety initiative that we are challenging the scope of work there to make sure that we're doing everything better than before. We also, I've talked before in these meetings about how we replaced our materials management building. We were able to get a materials management building put back in place within 3 months, 3 to 4 months of the tornado. This is just new roofs that we were able to put in place on other medical office buildings. And the point here is new roofs, stronger, and change the design to be more consistent with the look of the campus. So improving the look and aesthetics as well. So a lot of progress there. We'll invite you as we reopen, have our re-grand opening, and look forward to seeing you there. Moving forward, on 2024, our focus is continuing to be employee and physician engagement, patient satisfaction, physician recruiting, cardiology, oncology, and then I want to talk a little bit about some North Campus service expansions we're focused on. So as far as physician and providers go, we have 3 that have joined us or will be joining us within the next few months. Nurse practitioner Alyssa Butler, Dr. Stephen Davis in family medicine will be joining Dr. Kuzan, Mata, Menard that group in July. And then Dr. Marcus Cox is an interventional cardiologist that will be joining our community in August. We also are looking to recruit another interventional cardiologist for next year. We're looking to recruit a medical oncologist, family practice, internal medicine. We have a 3-person OBGYN group. We'd like a 4th as a part of that group, and then another general surgeon into the community. So this is our area of focus to move forward to continue to serve the community. I mentioned we were focused on cardiology services. We are right now installing the new state-of-the-art cath lab. I know we've talked about it at a previous meeting. It is underway right now. Thrilled about not only the additional capabilities that this cath lab will have, but the significantly reduced radiation exposure to patients, staff, physicians in using this technology as well. Right now, because we have the cath lab that was deinstalled, we're doing construction in the area to put this new equipment in. The back of the hospital is closed off with barricades, and we have a mobile cath lab there at this time. But I wanted to show you a picture of right bottom of the interior of that mobile cath lab. This is the left, of course, is the exterior of where the cath lab is. We have a covered walkway going out to it. The bottom right is the interior of the cath lab. It has everything we need to do the job. So we are still here and ready to take STEMI, heart attack, whatever. We are a Louisiana Emergency Response Network certified center for heart attacks. Cancer services. We've talked before here about our focus on breast cancer. We got the 3D mammography in place. We have a 3D breast biopsy in place, and a lot of enhanced procedures that we can do in the area of cancer. We've also added a program for a nurse navigator. So if someone does get a cancer diagnosis or going down the path of needing some different services for that diagnosis to be made, a nurse that can counsel, direct, help the patient through that, because it's a confusing time. That's been very well received. We've also had the new technology of the PET CT scanner. So what a PET CT does, it's a regular CT, but it also does some special, the PET portion of it identifies the active cancerous cells to where they glow. So any cancer can be identified with this scanner as well. After looking into a deep dive and making sure we did early detection of breast cancer, now we're focused on lung cancer. What can we do to get this community early detection in lung cancer? Lung cancer, as we were going through our strategic plan about 2 years ago, and a deep dive into our community specific to Iberia Parish, lung cancer is what is projected to be the highest rate of increasing cancer in our community. So we were blessed that Dr. Matt Dotrieve came and joined Dr. Chitakuli in a practice here, both critical care, pulmonology board certified, and they've begun a program with us for early detection, low-dose CT. Many insurances pay that. Medicare pays for it as a part of annual screenings now. Many other insurances do, but we are offering a cash pay option of $150. If you're worried and your insurance is saying you don't meet the criteria, we want to be able for it to be as accessible as possible, and that $150 includes the radiologist reading it and everything. So we want people to be able to get peace of mind and beginning to roll this program out as well. We also have, in addition to the CT, the low-dose CT screenings, if there is a finding, we have the ability with the new endobronchial ultrasound. This is some new equipment that we have, and we've installed this and began our first procedure in November. So I last spoke to you in October. November is when we started this. And this is a scope that goes down into the lungs, and it has a needle that can biopsy any findings. So it's not very invasive. It gives you a way to quickly biopsy. And this technology is better than the Lafayette hospitals have. It is newer and really thrilled that we have two experts like Dr. Chitakuli and Dr. Dotrieve using this Dr. Dotrieve was very passionate about that because he said in some of the Lafayette hospitals, it's taking a month or longer for a patient from initial finding to be able to get the biopsy done, and they're committed to doing this procedure every week so that patients do not have to wait. That's a long time for patients to wait to find an answer. Some additional equipment we've been buying with a part of our surplus and prioritizing is just state-of-the-art. We have some bedside monitors that link all vital signs directly into our electronic health record. We have some new suction and docking and cleaning stations in our ORs, both campuses. We have Neon Coden Central Monitoring Station for all of our ICU, new telemetry monitoring station for all of our ICU, med-surg, maternal child, and emergency room. And then up at the top right, we've just upgraded to the newest infant protection technology, a tracking system for mothers and babies with real-time tracking to make sure that the babies that are in our hospital. We had a previous system that we put in place about 7 years ago, but this is a significant upgrade as technologies change, so really pleased to be able to put this in place. I can't be here and not brag a little bit about our lab team. We just had a CAP lab survey. CAP is a College of American Pathologists. It's the gold standard for labs. Not all hospital labs get this certification, and our team went through it with flying colors, so you can see that they're happy about it too. I want to thank Larry Richard, President Richard, Lady Fontenette Brown, who's not here this evening, and Mayor Bourgeois. They helped us to unveil the community food pantry at the Jeanerette Rural Health Clinic. Excited about that. It's a food pantry where you take one, you leave one. We want anybody in need to be able to continue to do that. And the fun part about that is it was installed, we left it fully stocked, and went back to restock, and the community had already been doing that. People had been leaving Infomill and different things. So people were taking, people were leaving, so we just hope that that continues to perpetuate, and we'll continue to do that as we can in different areas, because food insecurity can be a significant detriment to health in general. Last thing I wanted to cover was about the North Campus and future services at the North Campus. So in the last legislative session, the 2023 legislative session, Iberia Medical Center was awarded with the leadership of Marcus Bryant, Bo Boye, and specifically an $8.675 capital outlay. That was $1.5 million of it funded in this fiscal year, with the rest of it priority 5 for future years. So this was the 2023 resolution, where 1.5 was funded this past year, with 7.1 left to fund. That requires a $2.9 million matching fund by the hospital for an $11.6 million project. This project is for North Campus. It is for expansion of psychiatric unit, an adult psychiatric unit at the North Campus, and some medical surgical beds. We don't have inpatient beds for medicine and surgery at the North Campus yet. So the study that we did to show the need here, especially on the psychiatric area, are the patients at the main campus that we hold, we evaluate, and then many of them are transferred out of state because of the lack of beds. On the medical surgical units, and trying to get that, is trying to make sure that our emergency rooms, we don't hold as many patients in the emergency rooms, transferring of patients out. And then one thing that really hit home is, during the tornado with one facility, we are really susceptible to hurricane or tornado taking out a lot of our services. Now, we can't be redundant of everything on both campuses, but there are things that having 2 separate campuses can really help us be able to pivot and continue to care for the community during those disasters and situations. So with that, we had proposed construction of about $6 million. That's to renovate, no new buildings. It is to renovate the existing structure within the North Campus. What that is needed for is that it has been now over 10 years since that facility has been in use. It has all new ADA requirements, all new Louisiana Department of Health requirements, and especially since COVID, there's requirements now for air exchanges and things like that that are safer for hospital environments that we fully meet at the main campus, but at the old Dotrieve campus, those rules were not in place at the time. So a lot of that work is going to be to bring the inpatient areas up to code with the construction and then the equipment to open those beds. Right now, in the 2024 session, we are currently in House Bill 2 at Priority 1, moving that $7.1 million, moving about half of it up to funding this year. And then our goal would be to get the rest of the funding the next year. So the first $2 million that we've received, 1.5 we received, we matched it with 500,000, is really going to be to the HVAC, plumbing, electrical infrastructure. With this next tranche of 3.5 is where we're going to be able to renovate the rooms, the bathrooms on the floors, and get the equipment needed to open one of the units. And then the second unit can be open in the next year with the next level of funding. So I just wanted to let you know that we're on task for a bigger vision for the North Campus. That doesn't mean we're very focused on the main campus as well. We want to increase our services on the main campuses for the higher end, more tertiary care needed, and then allow the North Campus to continue to serve the community with that backup higher level care at the main campus. So excited about that. And I just want to, as I close, remind you we have our golf tournament coming up. The foundation raising funds that are being dedicated primarily to our infant security system in the main hospital as well. So, any questions?
We do have one from the gentleman from District 11 right now.
Ms. Dion, so some of us have been here, I think we're going on our 9th year. And let me tell you, since you've been there, every time you come, I'm really just taken back by the way you present and what's going on. In our early years, me especially, had some issues with, with the board, with some of the doctors there. I mean, it was, I don't want to say chaotic, but it was strange for me a little bit. But you keep coming with good things, and like I told you before the meeting, I don't hear no more about the hospital, about the board members, at least I don't. And you said, that's good, we want to be boring.
That's it.
So, look, to the ladies with you, to you, to your staff, to everybody at the hospital, me personally, I am impressed where we were as a councilman, where when I saw the way the hospital was, the leadership that was there. But now, and not to say it was bad, but it's so much better now. It's so much pleasant to have you here to present what's going on at our hospital, all the taxpayers. So hats off to you, and thank you for bringing in such good things that's happening at our Bureau Medical.
It's a
Thank
lot of
you.
fun. Thank you. Because
Thank you.
I think it starts with this council. You've appointed some really great board members that are very supportive. They ask a lot of questions. They keep us on track.
Good.
But we're having fun with a lot of the things that we're doing. It's good to be a part of a winning team, and we're all stronger together. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 8 is recognized for a question.
Yeah, Ms. Viator, I just want to make a statement. I'm happy to see that you're getting the contract labor down. I think you and I had a conversation about a year ago on something with that. I think when you have someone work directly for the hospital, you have more say-so over them, and I think they have to have accountability when they work in there full-time, that they have to do what they need to do. So I'm glad to see you moving in that direction to try to trim down on that contract stuff. And
a lot more personal ownership.
Exactly.
If you're full-time employed by the hospital.
And I know I helped you out on your 22 financing, but I'm glad I didn't have to do the 23. It's a good thing. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back. This is a privileged one. The gentleman from District 4 is recognized. It's not often.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not often, but y'all, I want to thank you and your staff for all the good things and where you got us and where you brought us. And I guess the best way to say it is, it took us from rags to riches.
No. Thank you, sir.
Seeing and hearing no other comments?
I have a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, Parish President.
Dion, I think you said that, why is lung cancer projected to be the leading cause of cancer in this area?
It's the most significantly increasing is what it is. So the leading cause is still going to be more like breast cancer, some things like that. But
why do you think
the
it's
most increasing. So I think a lot of that has to do with the number of settlements that happened with the tobacco industry. A lot of the money that came from those settlements is now being wisely invested in early detection. So the rise may be that it's been there, and we were finding out about it later, but the rise is now that the early detection is being increased. I think it's just we're catching a lot of it earlier, which is a good thing. But we need to make sure that we move on that quickly and get those diagnoses because it is treatable.
Thank you.
Ms. Viator, thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do and the open communications we have between us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, members, moving on to community events and public service announcements. There is none. Moving on to... Oh, you know what? I guess we could, members.
Boy, you
If y'all,
gotta get out
if
of
you
here.
don't mind,
You gotta-
vote your machines on final adoption expansion number, summary number 67. Mike, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Mathurin, that motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Moving on to reports from finance and administrative actions. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Balance sheets for December 2023 on request.
Number 2.
Year-to-date budget reports, budget versus actual for December 2023 on request.
Number 3.
Balance sheets for January 2024 on request.
Number 4.
Year-to-date budget reports, budget versus actual for January 2024 on request.
Number 5.
Balance sheets for February 2024 on request.
Number 6.
Year-to-date budget reports, budget versus actual for February 2024 on request.
Reports in parish or other governmental agencies, there is none. Public Works reports. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Public Works Department report for closed work orders dated March 13th through 26, 2024.
Members, you should have received that by email. Moving on to special business. Number 1.
A public meeting to be held on May 8th, 2024, to adopt ordinances authorizing the levy of various millages for year 2024.
Any comments, members? Any questions? Hearing and seeing none, moving on to consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. We have the minutes for regular meeting on March 27th, 2024, and summary number 58, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending the 2024 general fund budget in the net amount of $42,541 to carry forward one SHSP 2022 grant expenditure funding and related revenues, $4,446. Number 2, vehicle purchase, Public Works Administration, $42,541. And 3, ARPA broadband expenditure and related revenue, $310,000 to the current year's budget.
At this time, members, do I have a motion to open consent agenda item? I have that motion by Councilman Landry. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Landry.
Wave.
Councilman Trahan. At this time, members, is there any request on the floor to remove a consent agenda item? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines on final adoption of the minutes of March 27th and summary number 58 for final adoption. Vote your machines, members. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption. There is none. Resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. We have summary number 59, introduced by Marcus Bruce, Broussard, District 3. There we go. Yeah, that's what I would do the next one. Madam Clerk?
A resolution on behalf of the Iberia Parish requesting our local delegation and governor of Louisiana to consider reinstating the reimbursement to the parish for the health and medical care of prisoners, which is currently an unfunded mandate and has placed a burden on the health unit millage with continued efforts of focusing on crime.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Broussard on discussion.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to, thank you, Mr. Chair, I'm gonna talk to this a little bit. In 2016, when John Bell took office, this was actually mandated prior to him taking office, but the mandate is from the state to the parish to fund health and medical expenses for the prisoners, right? So in 2016, that mandate still intact, but the funding was removed. It used to be reimbursed to the parish. So pretty much left you guys, I wasn't here, but you guys that were here, to come up with a way to fund it, right? So every year it's gone up and up and up, and we're pulling that fund from the health unit millage that we're about to renew. It's up to, I think, $950,000 budgeted this year, and a millage that brings in 1.2, 1.25, something like that I've been reading. So I just, and Governor Landry is focused on crime, and that's going to put more pressure on our health and hospitals, and I'm sorry, the health of the prisoners. So what I think this needs to be in front of them, asking them to either reinstate the reimbursement. It's an unfunded mandate. I don't really like those things to begin with, and we as a parish and all the police jury and parish councils across the state have to contend with this. And this millage also funds the animal shelter, rabies control. So it's $950,000 budgeted for the inmates. That only is a few $100,000 for the health unit, for the shots, right? For the animal rabies control, as well as we got some money in there we're using for the home abatement program, right? So anyway, all that being said, I'd like to get a unanimous support on this and ask those folks to think about that when they're going through their money.
Or you requesting unanimous second?
Sure.
Okay, I'll reserve that, go to Councilman Pellerin, then we'll come back to invoke that. The gentleman from District 3 yields back. The gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think he hit on all the topics I wanted to hit on. I mean, I think this is a great idea. If we can get anything back from the state, I mean, it'll help us in our budget a long way.
The gentleman from District 10 yields back, hearing and seeing no other comments or questions. There is a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard to invoke a unanimous second. Is there any objection to that? Hearing and seeing none. Vote your machines on unanimous second, members. That motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Broussard.
Yeah.
Moving on to summary number 60, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending the 2024 parish-wide drainage fund budget in the net amount of $61,846 to carry over vehicle purchase, which is delayed due to vehicle inventory.
Do you have a motion on the floor? I have a motion by Councilman Landry, second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Landry on discussion.
Waive.
Councilman Trahan. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption, summary number 60. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 61, introduced by Mosquito Abatement Control.
A resolution amending the 2024 mosquito control drainage fund budget in the amount of $108,000 to provide for carryover of equipment funding.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Brown. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Brown on discussion. Councilman Trahan. Any other main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption, summary number 61. Councilman Brown?
The request is still there. Something might happen.
Might have to get them some new batteries.
We got new batteries.
Oh.
Vote no, try it if you vote no.
Wait a minute, let me see. Oh, wait, let me cancel this. I don't know what the.
Have to get them touchscreen.
I made a council meeting. I'm gonna call you as soon as I get out.
Something is wrong.
It's not me.
Councilman Brown, do you want to go ahead and state your vote on the record?
Yeah, yes.
Councilman Brown will be in the affirmative. You can end voting. That motion carries Unanimously.
Wait, look.
Moving on to summary number 62, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending the 2024 Recreation District Number 1 Fund budget in the amount of $179,942 to carry over capital improvement funding for various projects.
Do you have a motion on the floor? Have a motion by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Pellerin.
Wait.
Councilman Landry. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption, number 62. Councilman Napier, Councilman Brown. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 63, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending the 2024 parish-wide drainage fund budget in the amount of $535,688 to account for additional funds to be received as a result of the 2023 mosquito control drainage tax surplus distribution, and further amending the 2024 mosquito control drainage fund budget in the amount of $1,056,254 to provide for surplus distribution in accordance with sale tax proposition.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Brown. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Brown.
Wait.
Councilman Trahan. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption, summary number 63. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 64, introduced by Warren P. Goshenson, District 5.
A resolution requesting the Department of Transportation and Development to remove the cones and barriers currently in place, which would allow traffic to flow unimpededly on Louisiana 182 until such a time a decision is made regarding the Airport Road Railroad crossing.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Broussard is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you putting this up here. It's not fixed, so it's not just removing the cones and barriers, it's actually fixing the highway. So I don't know if we want to amend it or if we want to put that language in there if that's necessary, but it's,
We do have a resolution that we've already sent DOTD.
Okay.
About the crossing.
well, not the crossing, but this is the highway, right?
The road
182
itself.
road.
I passed by.
Well, the issue I'm having is you're talking about the shoulder of the road? Yeah, I don't have a
No,
problem.
sir, on the road, there's holes, there's,
Oh, I mean, again, that goes
As
back
it comes
to.
with this, that's fine. I just to
absolutely-
fix it
no,
and remove the
absolutely. Let's
cones.
stipulate
It's
that.
it's another step, I guess, but it's fine if we,
I do think the parish president had something you wanted to add to
Just
that.
for council information, today I spoke to the administrative District 3. In fact, I actually had Ian in my office at the time. We was talking about some other things. And I want to make it perfectly clear that, you know, we're talking about doing some work and elevating Highway 182 and all this good work that we're looking to do there. And so the question I posed to him directly is, who actually have control of closing or keeping it to where we can't actually cross over that track? And he said, Mr. Eric, said it's going to be the decision of the railroad company and DOTD. The reason I'm saying that is because I've been getting a lot of our delegation to talk to me about trying to come up with monies to overlay this. They don't even have a clue what that decision is yet. So I want all the council members to know and everyone else that's looking, that decision to keep that crossing open is not a decision from me or from you. That's from the Department of Transportation and the railroad company.
I guess the question I have for you is asking us to come up with money to
Yeah,
build it back?
What would happen, according to the conversation I had today, the Highway 182 portion to elevate the road would be paid for by the Department of, the state, Department of Transportation.
Okay.
It would be no match to Iberia Parish for that. That would be 100%, they would have to put that into the budget. For example, maybe they can put that into House Bill 2 if they wanted to do that. What our cost would be is to come up with the money from where the 182 road would be done, then we have to go from 182 to cross over the
Yeah.
railroad track. That would be our cost.
Yeah.
And estimating that, I think we came up with a number somewhere around.
Mr. Richard, I don't want to get too far off, but just help me, and Councilman, I know you still have the floor. Did parish government tear that road up over the tracks?
No, sir.
And is parish government expected to replace that road over the tracks?
Yes, sir.
That I have a problem with, but Councilman Broussard, you still have the floor, I
My
apologize.
point in this is that whatever happens, this is two things. This is 182 getting reopened. They got to fix it, regardless of what the legal situation is. Fix the road, get everybody back to, move the cones, get everybody back traveling like we're supposed to be, regardless of airport roads.
That's just a
And then the
request.
second thing would be whatever, because it could take
Yeah.
a year, 2 years, 10 years to
Exactly.
get. So just fix the road, DOTD, fix the road,
Fix the
pave
182
it, move the
side.
cones, let's get back to normal,
Right.
and then airport roads, the second
So
thing.
you want to
It's just the
include, you're going to
public
include
works.
amendments
I would just
add
ask
to
that
fix the
to
road?
fix the road. Just
Okay.
fix it and move the cones.
So
I'll come back
Because
to you
it's
after-
not ready to drive on even if you move the cones.
Right.
Because
That's
it's
exactly
got,
right. That's
it's
exactly
got
right.
issues. So they fix the road, move the cones, and then we'll deal with airport.
He's just
Boulevard.
asking to
Yeah.
send a request to the
Well,
DOT.
Because they
to
can't just
fix
move the
roads.
cones.
I just, the issue that I'm having is lifting the road. I mean, I get that they all determining this, but Highway 88, you have the same problem.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, the road is not lifted, correct, Chad? I mean, help me understand. I mean, you have the same problem, that
Drive it every day.
intersection that you're saying that needs to be fixed at this one. Well, then who's going to fix that side?
It's the same, yeah.
It's just crazy.
Well, we actually talked about that today, but I'll let that slide.
Anyway,
Well, that's the problem. We've let too much slide for
Yeah,
so
well,
long. That's why we
that's
still got
another, that's
cones.
another job that would have to be done by the Department of Transportation.
You're right. The gentleman from District 3 yields back. The gentleman from District 8 is recognized.
Yeah, I agree with y'all 100% on getting this road open, those cones
Yep.
out. Every time I pass, I shake my head. and
Exactly.
Waiting for something to happen. On the other note, what Mr. Reshore talked about, and I could be wrong, but you know, the railroad, they don't follow laws, they make laws, they make their own laws.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm assuming they was able to tear up our road that we paid for as a parish government, get it out the way because it's on their right of way, basically. So now they want us to come back and put road back on their, top of their right of way to continue our
Yeah,
road.
if you want to cross the track.
So it's not like dealing with anybody else. They make their, I mean, they can stop traffic for a half hour on a daily basis and can't even give them a ticket, can't do them anything. They have their own laws and they do what they want. Well, it's worse than fighting government. Fighting them.
I can't say I disagree with you, Councilman.
Right.
The gentleman from District 8 yields back. Any other main motion discussion? Hearing and seeing none, we do have a, if you want to press your machine, a motion on the floor to amend. Have an amendment by Councilman Broussard, if you want to state your amendment.
yeah, just amend it to fix the road to
Before you
drivable.
pull it
So
And
amend the
then pull the
language to
cones.
include
That's-
fixing the
That's
road.
right.
Is that okay with the second by Councilman Landry? Yeah. Any discussion on the amendment by Broussard? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on the amendment by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Brown?
There you go.
Let me see. Okay, no.
That motion carries unanimously. Now back to the main motion with the amendment. Vote your machines on final adoption, number 64. Councilman Brown? That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 65, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution for the Federal Off-System Bridge Rehabilitation and Replacement Program allocation for the period of 2023 through 2025 in the amount of $2,874,168, as recommended for replacement by the parish bridge inspector for the following bridges. A, Monot Road over Delahousie Canal, structure number 0323-295-399-14101, recall number 200708, year 1966. B, Sidney LeBlanc Road over Cooley, structure number 0323-295-739-14931, recall number 030057, year 1986. C, Cooley Road at Peebles Cooley, structure number 023-295-629-14901, recall number 200735, year 1970. D, John Lewis Road at Little Valley Bayou, structure number 0323-295-544-914-681, recall number 200729, year 1975. And E, 80 ARPA at Delahousie Canal, structure number 0323-295-219-14201, recall number 200717, year 1967.
Members, before we open up, there is a recommendation by the parish president to defer to the next meeting on April 24th. Do I have a motion to open? Have a motion by Councilman Landry, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Landry.
I'm gonna go along with the parish if you want to defer. till-
Okay, let me fully open, then we'll come back to that if
Okay.
you want to press your button again in the next deal. Councilman Pellerin on discussion?
Waive.
Okay. Councilman Landry. Councilman Landry, you have the floor.
Defer till the next meeting?
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Landry to defer to the next meeting, April 24th. Is that okay with the second by Councilman Pellerin? Any discussion on deferment, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines to defer summary number 65. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 66, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development canceling state structure number 0323-300-329-15531, recall number 200692, year 1965, Lobby Road over Cooley Bridge replacement in the Federal Off-System Bridge Program.
Do I have a motion, members? Have a motion by Councilman Trahon. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Trahon.
Waive.
Councilman Pellerin. Any other main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption, summary number 66. Councilman Brown.
Wait a minute. Ain't doing, okay.
That motion carries unanimously. Members, we do have another expansion, if you want to go back to expansion number 1, which is summary number 67, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing Iberia Parish President to execute an agreement with the Louisiana Department of Transportation to contribute funding for the project to clear debris from Bayou Teche, to provide an effective date and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The purpose of this expansion is to expedite the process for Iberia Parish government to enter into an agreement with Louisiana Department of Transportation for the amount of $65,000 to begin the debris cleaning and cleaning of the Bayou Teche. A motion to suspend the rules is needed as this item was not considered by the Joint Committee.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin, a second by Councilman Brown to go into public session. Vote your machines, members. Councilman Brown.
I gotta cancel it. Okay.
That motion carries unanimously. We're now into public session. Public comments. Is there anyone from the general public that wants to address item number 67? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to go back into regular session. I have that by Councilman Landry and Councilman Swear. Vote your machines, members. Go back into regular session. That motion carries unanimously. We're now back into regular session. I'll need a motion to expand the agenda. Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Trahon. Vote your machines on expansion, members. That motion carries unanimously. Now, summary 67 is expanded. I'll need a motion to suspend the rules. Have a motion by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Landry. Vote your machines on the suspension. Councilman Broussard, okay, y'all taking your votes away. Councilman Broussard, Councilman Brown.
I voted it.
Now you did.
That motion carries. The rules have now been suspended. I'll need a motion to open summary number 67. I have that motion by Councilman Pellerin and second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Pellerin on discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think Larry touched on this earlier. Man, I think this is a great idea. I mean, anything to clear this bayou, I mean, help with the drainage. I'm all for it.
Gentleman from District 10 yields back. The gentleman from District 2 is recognized.
I kind of feel the same way unless Larry want to expand on anything. I'm good.
Thought he did a pretty good job.
Well, this is, I don't have anything to say. Basically, this is a great opportunity for Iberia Parish. And let's take
Once in a
advantage.
lifetime, Ray.
Once in a lifetime.
The gentleman from District 2 yields back. The gentleman from District 3 is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Larry, where's the 65,000 coming out of? It's coming out of drainage? I'm sorry, drainage? Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm good. I didn't see it.
The gentleman from District 3 yields back. The gentleman from District 8 is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Richard, I think I might know the answer, but with this project, there's no intentions on trying to get anything out of Teche Lake Canal.
Well, it was discussed, the equipment that they're actually using is too big to go into Teche Lake Canal. It was discussed quite some time. But that would be another project that potentially could happen later, but not with this one.
I kind of knew that. I just wanted you to say it
Yeah.
for the record where they could hear, because some people are asking
Yeah.
why they're not doing it at the same time, but the equipment's just too big to get in there.
Right. It's some major concerns with that.
All right, thank
You
you.
know, if I can tap into this here, you know, last year, I guess it was, we had to go and remove some trees for a boat for a boat to pass from Bros. And that's a job for Public Works, you know, when you're using a 60-foot excavator, long reach. What's getting done right now is absolutely remarkable. You know, when we rode down to take a look at the target zones, I think y'all had identified 8 target zones. They have like 170 target areas that's actually being cleaned up. This is a huge project, and it was done. It was put together so quick, and I can't say enough about. You know, it came from the governor's administration, the Corps of Engineers, and also from the Department of Transportation. And the Department of Transportation is going to pay a big part of it, pay for a lot of this. So basically, what happened earlier when I was talking about the Tetra Million, they coming up with 65,000 because it's going to benefit them with what they did, and the 65,000 that we're coming up with. I'm telling you, this is a huge deal for Iberia Parish because it's going to certainly help the flow of water that we have in Iberia Parish. So, that's it. That's all I have.
The gentleman from District 8 yields back. The gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
Yeah, Larry, I got a question. Since we investing this money into this, if they come across any hidden treasures in the bayou,
Come to the parish.
It coming to the parish?
Yeah. You found a boat.
If it's good treasures.
There might be some bodies down there.
We don't want those. We don't want
All
those.
right, members, gentleman from District 10 yields back. Hearing and seeing no other main motion discussion. Vote your machines on final adoption, number 67. That motion carries unanimously. Before we adjourn, members, I'd just like to remind the general public that our next meeting is April 24th, and that the stormwater management survey is still available on our website, and adjudicated properties through Civic Source is available. I need a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Pollard. Vote your machines on adjournment, members. That motion carries unanimously. We're now-